So you don't know who you can reach out to. Just do it. Don't be scared. Take the risk. Love what you do, and you never have to work a day in your life.
Look, the biggest podcast where you can learn them lessons. Line for line where you can learn from different sections. Made it out the mud, come tell your story, blessings. Never know who listening, never know who stressing. Divine gave you a voice, come speak your honest truth. Line for line, go bar for bar, it's up to you. Wanna talk sports, gov, and politics? Wanna talk about where you from and your accomplishments? Then Line for Line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week.
Welcome back to another special episode of Line for Line podcast. We have a very special guest in the building today. We have the man, the myth, the legend. We have Mr. Alex Kudrna in the building. Alex, how are you feeling?
I'm good. How about yourself? Thanks for coming.
Dude, I'm just taken back by this production studio right now. I really feel like I made it right now. Like, this episode just feels like the quality is just getting better and better. And that's what it's about, setting that trend and not stopping doing what you love. And that's exactly what I'm doing, young man.
That's awesome. Living the dream like I do every day.
Yes, sir. The most cliche thing we like to do when we start Line for Line podcast, we have our guests just tell the world just a little bit about themselves, young man. So the floor is yours to do so now.
Sure. My name is Alex Kudrna. I'm the owner of Backyard Dream Productions. It all started in my backyard at the age of 8. Ever since then, I've been following the dream. The backyard keeps getting bigger, but the dream has always been the same. Mm-hmm. So just growing into a large virtual production studio. I am the first in Wisconsin, the second in the Midwest. So we're pioneering an industry that doesn't quite exist here. Hollywood and Disney are the first ones to really push it back in 2020. Mm-hmm. And since 2020, I've been kind of slowly following them and following those footsteps and learning on it. So within the last 2 years, ended up purchasing a large LED wall, and here you are today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, when you say this started in your backyard at the age of 8, can you just tell us a little bit about what your start looked like, what equipment you used, what you were doing, and how you got started?
Yeah, I had a tiny little Sony Handycam, little cassette tapes, little DV tapes. The neighborhood kids would come over. We would go out in the woods. We'd film different short films, make different things. And then my parents let me build a stage in the backyard, so then they would put on performances as well, too. So every time we had parties, I would give everyone tickets. They'd head to the back of the yard and watch a tiny little show I would do. And I had a whole bunch of power switches, whatever you call those, with multiple outlets in it.
Okay.
With all the switches, and I would change all the lights and all that and do different things, do a little light show, and had a little shower curtain as the back curtain, and we just make little performances in the backyard. So it's always been about experiences for people I like to give.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So now that's at age 8. When would you say you really had your first breakthrough where this was really promising to you and it showed promise of the hard work that you put in?
I would say it's when I started going to college. When I got my associates and bachelor's in film and business up at Madison Media Institute, which no longer exists. But I started working on productions right away out of college. While I was in college, actually, too. A lot of the instructors had Emmys and Tellys and all these different awards, and they were still working in the industry while they were teaching. Mm-hmm. So they'd bring on students to these productions. So I got real-world hands-on experience. I'm like, I love what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to do this. I'm starting to make it. My name's starting to get out there throughout the state. And then I moved back to Kenosha when I graduated and slowly started my business, Backyard Dream. And here we are almost 8 years later and still trucking along.
Isn't that the craziest part? Because, do you have Snapchat?
No.
Oh, do you have social media?
Yeah.
So you know how when you post a story to your social media, like a year goes by, 2 years go by, and it shows you your memories?
Yep.
Just the other day, I was looking, and it showed me doing podcasts in 2018. And the year is now 2024. And I'm like, I've really been putting in work all of these years. Can you speak to the highs and the lows of putting in the work from the start and getting to where you want to go?
I would say the beginning is rough, but it's all a learning process. I don't see it as a negative. I don't see it as I want to give up. It's every day I learn something new. If I fail, I pick myself up and try again. Because you don't learn always from the success. You always learn from what the failures are so you can get to that success. So my first thing I did when I moved back, I actually bought the Orpheum Theater down the road in downtown Kenosha. And that was kind of a stepping stone. I'm actually in the process of selling it right now.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm really focusing on video production full time, really growing this industry in Wisconsin. And so I don't see that as the building, I want to put a theater. I had all these dreams for that. But I have two very big dreams. I wanted to open a theater and I want video production. But right now, financially, I can't do both. And I really want to focus on video production because Hollywood is leaving California. The industry is leaving. You don't have to live in those big areas anymore. So my goal is to bring film and television to Wisconsin. That's always been a dream of mine. So I really need to hone in on that right now because we're working with legislators right now to bring back film incentives, which we haven't had. We're one of 10 states in the state of Wisconsin that don't have film incentives. So once we have that, we can get those big television shows back. We haven't had them since 2009. So that's really what I'm focusing on right now.
Of course. Now, with us living in the era of social media, have you been able to use that to your advantage to get your name out there more and get snippets of your work out there more as well too?
Yes, social media has helped a lot. Facebook, LinkedIn, and then TikTok, doing short little snippets of videos really pushes it further, because if people love content, they're going to share it to their friends, and it's going to share it from there. Especially if you tag everybody. And so, if, after today we tag you and myself and everyone that's involved, it's going to grow to all their social media channels. So social media is a huge impact, and I don't feel a lot of people use the full potential of it. I would say I'm there too. I don't post enough content. I'm not one that usually is in front of the camera.
Oh, no.
So over the past year or so, I've really opened up and started being in front of camera, because you put a face to Backyard Dream. Otherwise, it's a faceless company.
Of course. Now, can you just speak to the most difficult time you've had as a creator in the specific industry that you're in?
Ooh. To be honest, I think it's right now. I would say it's more for the virtual production side of it. Right now, it's difficult because people don't understand this industry with the LED wall. It doesn't exist here. So teaching clients and educating clients is what we're in the process of right now, is how this technology works, how it takes them from on location to in a studio, how you have 24 hours of sunlight. You don't have to worry about the weather. You don't have to worry about permits. It's so new. People are like, well, I just go on location. They don't understand it. If I had this in California, people are like, oh, I know exactly what that is. So I'd say right now is the most difficult time, is getting the word out for this, because we're the only ones doing it. We're in a niche market right now.
Of course. Speaking of market, did that ever maybe hinder your thought process, realizing that you're in the Wisconsin market as opposed to a California market or a Vegas market or anything like that?
So I originally was going to go to LA. Right after college, I was like, I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to live that dream everyone else does. And then I'm like, why don't I stay here? Why don't I create an industry here that doesn't exist?
Of course.
And yes, it's actually harder to stay here than create than go out there. And I'm up for a challenge. I'd rather figure out how to make it work and bring it here, because everyone's like, well, everyone leaves. Well, yeah, because no one's staying behind to make it happen. So if one person starts it, it's gonna be a domino effect, and more people will stay behind. It's gonna happen here. I want to keep our future generation here.
Of course. It's funny that you say that, because I just interviewed the general manager of the Kenosha Kingfish. We were talking about the rich history of Kenosha and things of that nature as well too. With us being in the filming industry, we have people like Mark Ruffalo, who's from the city and speak highly on the city. Now, I say that to say, how likely is it that you will work with other creators around the area as well too, to keep Kenosha on the up and up as well?
We're 100% open to working with any creators, anybody. We offer deals to independent filmmakers, people that need to do a music video. We're open to working deals with them, because that was the other part of my dream. Is when I was growing up, obviously Kenosha didn't have this, so I didn't have access to learn here. Our biggest thing is working with upcoming generation to come into the studio, have hands-on. We always do tours with high schoolers and middle schoolers. They come and do tours, and you just see their minds explode, like, I never thought I could be here.
Of course.
So that is my goal, and we're actually working with the city to be part of the Kenosha Innovation Neighborhood, to bring in film and video there and be inside that building. My ultimate dream in the next 5 years is to open a very large sound stage within that property as well too, to continue that and be in the middle of the city. And work with everybody in the city, no matter how old you are. I want to give opportunities and have the resources for them.
Of course. Now, can you just tell us about some of the creators and maybe just some of the people from the community that you had the chance to work with as well too, and bring this cool project to life?
Yeah, the cool thing is actually Mark Ruffalo endorsed our studio a few months ago. So he's excited for what's happening in Kenosha, and actually his plaque is hanging on the wall, the quote that he sent us. But he's a big one of it. The city, Mayor Bogdal has been a big visionary of it. And then our team in general, Ken Stouffer, who's our producer here, Mike Detterman, who is our DP, and then Jeff Rodriguez, who's our creative director / virtual production specialist here. They have all been on this dream as well. I started the dream, but they were able to come along and be like, hey, we want to jump on this dream too. We want to see where it goes. We love what you're doing, and we want to keep growing on that. So, and then just the city in general, everyone here's downtown business owners, different creators across the entire city have just been great. Everyone's been out supportive, and I want to give that back to them as well too, because dream doesn't work unless you do, and I want everyone to get on that.
Of course. This story is so touching because obviously me, Kenosha, born and raised, and that's exactly who I do this for when it comes to the podcast. It's like just to bring light to the city. I tell people all the time, like when I was in middle school, high school, when I was playing sports, if I had someone like me, and I say that not to toot my own horn, but if I had someone like me who gives a crap, who's out there filming everyone, not just, oh, we're here for the best player, we're here for the star swimmer, we're here for the star baseball pitcher, we're here for everyone and give everyone that voice and that platform to showcase their skills and talents. If I had someone like that, I would have never probably quit football, because it's like, as someone who's not the starter or someone who's not the big name or the coach's favorite, if you feel like you're not getting any playing time, any support, or any love, you're like, well, what am I doing this for? But then if I know I'm out there and I make let's say a meaningless tackle, but I still have someone out there to record that and they're still showcasing me like, oh, game-saving tackle or whatever the case may be, that would have just made me go that much harder and stick to it and knowing that I'm part of something that's part of a collective, if that makes sense.
It's giving that motivation. If you say, don't give someone support, people need to be picked up. People need that little bit of praise, not putting them on a pedestal, but a little bit of praise like, hey, that tackle wasn't the best, but you still did it. Now you're learning from that. And that's where that failure and success comes in.
Of course.
You need to fail to understand what lessons you need to learn from that.
Yes, sir. What piece of advice would you give to a fellow creator like myself who struggles learning just the whole business side of it as well, from production to PR, marketing, things of that nature?
Just keep learning.
Yeah.
That's the big thing is a lot of people will say, well, I know everything about the industry. And that's the moment right there they stop learning. Yeah. Because you're like, well, I know everything. I don't need to learn anything more. And it's just getting out there. Networking is a huge one. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Oh, my gosh.
As you probably know. Just connecting with everybody, being at events, interacting, just shaking hands with people, just getting to know who they are. And you may not be able to utilize them in that moment, but maybe down the line or vice versa, they may need you as well. And that's where the community and the networking really comes hand in hand, is how you can help each other in the future, work together and push you forward. I would say with content creation, like I said, I'm my own worst enemy at this, is getting out in front of that camera, pushing content, no matter how crappy it may be. Content is content. You're getting it out there. Every day you should be posting, or at least twice a week or 3 times a week, is pushing yourself, who you are, pushing their brand, believing in your brand. A lot of people don't believe in their brand. And that really puts a failure on them, because if you don't believe in yourself, how can I have you believe in it?
Of course. Oh, my gosh. It's funny that you said it, because I just dealt with a story like that where a guy said, oh, yeah, I had to unfollow Line for Line podcast. I was like, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Maybe you'll find a podcast or whatever the case may be that works for you. But if you don't mind me asking, well, why'd you feel the need to unsubscribe and even share that with me? He said, oh, well, just over the past week, I saw you post yourself like 3 to 4 times. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, isn't this the brand that I'm promoting? Aren't I supposed to be in front of the camera marketing and things of that way? Because if you think about it, look at what you just said. You told me that you unfollowed. So it's like you unfollowed for me posting me. So if people are going to unfollow me, who's going to push this harder than I? Yeah. So at the end of the day, I have to be out there in the trenches and in the field promoting this brand and speaking peace into it and believing in it too. Because if you believe in it, everyone else is going to believe in it. If people can see that you halfway believe in it, why would I want to support that if I can see that you don't even believe in it? You're not even the front man of the own brand that you're pushing, Yeah. So when you say that, I feel like that hit close to home too, because I deal with stuff like that as well too.
100%.
Of course. Now, what would you say has been like the biggest mistake that you've made while being on this journey in the content creation?
I don't see mistakes as negatives. Again, that goes back into that failure. Is mistakes are, maybe buying gear too early, buying the best camera and the best lens too early, and then being like, well, now I have a few months where I'm broke. Did I need those cameras at that point? Probably not, but I thought it was cool. So you don't need the best camera to create the best content. It's the content and the contents of your story that's more important than the camera. You could be filming on, a nice a Razr flip phone from the early 2000s. If your content's really good, people aren't going to care about the quality of that video. And that's where you kind of grow into it. So I would say the biggest mistakes I made was maybe investing in gear a little too early, and not getting my name out there fast enough, not networking early enough, because I was nervous. I was scared. I was scared to get my name out there. But you got to break through that barrier. So early on mistakes would be not getting out the networking enough, not getting content out there enough, and maybe investing in equipment a little too early.
Of course. Brother, when you say that, you got me so relieved over here, because I've done that from the start as well too, bit off a little bit more than I can chew, having all of this equipment, having the photography camera, having the videography camera, having the drone, having this, but it's like, if I'm only one person and I'm in the start, why do I need all of this right now if I can't even utilize it? And that can hinder you from meeting a new goal or meeting a new person, because they say, oh, well, I see the hustle, the drive's there, but the product isn't put together just yet. And that's something that I had to learn from the beginning. Just stay patient, stay aware, stay cognizant, and just keep working. And it has been working to my favor once I put that in the forefront of my mind.
And one thing I always do is I never say no to a client. If they're like, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? I may not be able to do that moment, but I will learn it and figure out how to make it happen for that client. I won't let them know that, but I'll be like, Yeah, we could make that happen. Just give me a little bit of time. Let me figure out how to do it. But I'll never say no unless I know it's an ungodly task of some sort or something not appropriate. But I will never say no because I want to work with that client. I want to figure it out because that also pushes you to keep learning. If the client's like, can you do this? And you've never done it before? Well, there's an opportunity to learn. You're getting paid to learn that.
Of course. Now, as a new client walking in this door, can you just explain what Backyard Dreams Production does?
Sure.
And maybe you can even show something on the screen while we talk. I saw you with the tablet.
That I'll do that a little separate. That's with the green screen. But we do everything from video production to virtual production to live event production. So we could do music videos, short films, music, documentaries. We could pretty much do anything creative. You come in here with a video idea, we'll make it happen. If you have a live stream, so if you have like a corporate client that needs a live stream of their C-suite up here, we can film them and then send it out virtually for a live stream. There's a lot we could do. There's nothing we can't do. Live events, so if you need on location sound, lighting, audio, we'll bring that in as well too. And then obviously the LED wall, being anywhere in the world. We could put up green screen, we could put in you anywhere. That's the cool thing about virtual production is with the LED wall, it's one big screen. It's 10 by 30 LED wall. It's 2.8 million pixels. So you could be anywhere in the world. So let me actually...
That is crazy, brother. Anywhere in the world. So I could be in Zimbabwe right here, on here. Cameroon. Whoa, what the heck? Let's go.
So obviously this is a 2D backplate. So Jeff is our creative director. He uses Unreal Engine. So it's the same engine they use to make video games. So he makes these worlds all 3D and fully immersive. So when our real world camera moves, the virtual camera moves too. So you're getting parallax. You're getting that 3D effect as if you're there. It's just incredible.
Oh my God. Brother, just tell us a little bit about how great it felt when you were able to install this and use this.
It was exciting. It was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And now it's pushing the bounds because I'm like, well, it looks a little bit looks too fake. Now how do we keep making it better? Adding foreground elements, adding maybe some trees in the foreground, adding some extra water, some sand. All those elements make it more realistic.
Of course.
And that's where that learning comes in.
That's like the beautiful thing when you get like new content creation tools and stuff like this. It's like, okay, I got this now, but the road isn't done. Like the journey isn't done because now you have to focus on getting better, improving this, and actually learning it to be able to utilize it to your benefit as well too. Can you speak a little bit on how you've been utilizing it to your benefit?
The LED wall. It's the benefit is you're actually able to have 24 hours of sunlight. You're actually able not to deal with the rain or the weather. We could be anywhere in the world. A lot of clients come in, they say, well, we can't really film in a doctor's office because a doctor, as you know, HIPAA, and it's very busy. Here we bring up a doctor environment, doctor's office, a lab, and it's like they're there. They don't have to go to those locations. So they save on time. You're not worried about the sound. You're not worried about trying to book the time. Worry about generators, bringing extra lights. So it's just really exciting to be able to immerse someone in an environment that they're not even at. And when a client comes in, they see, they're like, they're speechless. But you can see the gears in their mind trying like, what's my next thing? How can I make it better? Of course.
Now, as I tell the people all the time, Kenosha is just this vibrant city that's on the up and up. How good does it feel to know that you're part of this community that's on the up and up and continue to grow?
It's exciting, and that's the main reason I stayed here. When I bought my building back in 2016, everyone's like, well, it's a dumb idea. Kenosha's not going anywhere. Nothing's going to happen here. It's Kenowhere. That whole thing. But it doesn't have to be. If people keep investing back in the city, it's going to grow. It's the people, the naysayers, people that say, well, it's never going to happen. Of course it's not, because you're being negative about it, and you're not doing anything about it. So in the last, 8-9 years that I've had that building now, the opportunities, Kenosha's growing. The developments that are happening here, the new housing that's going in, downtown plan, the Kin neighborhood, out by the interstate with Amazon and Uline. Kenosha's growing rapidly. We're moving forward to being the second largest city in the state of Wisconsin. So it's just keep investing in your own town, giving back. Even if it's the smallest thing, just keep giving back what you can. If you love it here, you got to give back.
Of course. As we get ready to close out this phenomenal episode, young man, what will be that lasting piece of advice that you would give to the content creators out there, or people who just want to do something and start from the bottom and start from scratch?
Don't give up. Ask questions, no matter how stupid they may be. There's no stupid questions. The only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask. Do your research. Google things. Find things on YouTube. Ask other people in the community. Maybe reach out to a very large content creator. You may not hear from them, but at least you ask them, like, hey, how'd you do it? But they may reach out too. Jeff, our creative director, actually reached out to Ian Fursa, who is very large in virtual production, does stuff for HBO and all this stuff. And he responded to him days later. Now he's one of our people that help assist us on productions. So you don't know who you can reach out to. Just do it. don't be scared. Take the risk. Love what you do, and you never have to work a day in your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host with the most, Devon Booker. That was Mr. Alex Kudrna. That's been another episode of Line for Line Podcast.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.